morning, everyone. This is the City of Syracuse Board of Assessment Review. Today is Tuesday? Tuesday, February 13th. I had to check. I thank everybody for coming, and we'll just do a roll call. My name is Joe Saya.
Whose job?
Carl Masterpole.
Michael Vabnese.
Donna Moore.
Okay, thank you. Just as a reminder, these meetings are recorded, TV, YouTube channel, and so just, to make you aware. First property is 212 Buckingham Avenue. Do you want to just come on up here? Morning, how are you both?
Good morning.
Good. Going to swear you in,
Okay.
read some stuff into the record, and then I'll turn it over to you, then we'll go over to the city, and then I'll come back to you. All right? So if you could both raise your right hand, state your name for the record.
Montgomery.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, very good. So once again, this is 212 Buckingham Avenue. Let me just confirm some things. This is a single-family owner-occupied dwelling. Current tentative assessment, $129,000, with a land value of $11,300. That would be an equatable assessed value of $206,400. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $190,000, which would be an assessed value of $118,750. Let me see if I can just pull a few points out of here. So in 2001, 3/30/2001, you purchased it for $94,000. And it looks like there was a mortgage that was put on it. And the rest of the information, I'll let you tell us. In the file, there's a pretty extensive amount of information, which is very good. Yeah, a lot of information in here, which we will review. So with that, if you can just give us a little flavor as to your property and why you believe it's worth $190,000.
Okay, so just want to say we have had regular increases in our assessment over the years. Pretty much almost every year in the recent past. So it prior $182,946 fair market value.
And when was that?
So that was the current assessment,
Okay.
fair market value.
Okay.
Fair market value.
But you're
So
saying that they increased several times over the last?
Yeah, they haven't been increasing, so I just wanted to make that clear. So the increase to fair market value increase at 206,400, that's a one-year increase at 23,454. So I think this is excessive, this increase, and I have provided two separate written narratives, as you noted, support and documentation that provide the basis for our argument. The first is titled Narrative to Support Grievance Filing to New Assessment, and the second narrative, which I dropped off shortly after the first, is Neighborhood Houses Recently Renovated and Sold, or as I said, flipped renovations.
In your area?
Pardon?
In your area?
Yes, in our neighborhood, yep. So I'll present three arguments that support our claim for reduced assessment. First, we do not have a garage contrary to the property inventory listing. Second, we only have one bathroom, which I believe should.
Let's stay on that for a
Sure.
second. What do you have, Ann, as far as?
We have a garage.
You have a garage. Okay. So there's no garage, no structure, no nothing?
No.
Just a driveway?
Yep.
Okay. And did you take that down? What?
So, yeah, I explained further on that we bought the property without the garage. It was, I believe it was damaged in the Labor Day storm. and it was taken down before we bought it.
Before you bought
Yeah,
the
yep,
house? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, good to know.
yep.
Is this your first time coming into Grieve?
Yes, yep. So, and the fact that we only have one bathroom, which I think should reflect a significant decrease in valuation. And then, third point, properties with significant interior improvements, including, additional bathrooms, recent renovations, have resulted in significantly higher sale values in our neighborhood. And our property has not had many of these improvements that most of the neighborhood properties in our vicinity have had.
Let me ask you,
Yep.
what floor is the bathroom on?
It's on the second floor.
Second floor,
Yep.
full bath,
Yep.
no other baths?
Nope.
What, if any, major improvements have you done to the property since you bought it back in, was it 2000?
Yeah, so we've done a lot of, just
Yep.
maintenance,
So
fix some
deferred
things that have gone
maintenance,
down.
New roof,
Done a new roof recently. So we did have central air put in 2007, so it's, it's dated at this point.
okay,
New furnace in there.
okay. But no new kitchen, bath, that kind of thing. Okay.
And I do outside maintenance, painting myself, so it's
The garage that was there, one car or two car, do we know? Don't know. How about the driveway? Is it wide in the back or
no, it's just like a narrow, very narrow.
narrow, straight lane driveway, so probably a one car?
Our neighbors on one side have
Footprint was. Okay. Let's see if I can take a peek at your petition. Yeah, it talks more about the garage. Looks like you believe, or the city says that it was a 20 by 20 garage.
So,
Okay, that's what it says here. Okay. Okay, no, I see that. Anything else you want to add before I go to the city, but I will come back to you? I'll come back to you. Is there anything else you want to add now?
yeah,
Oh,
I
good.
have more of a narrative.
Sure.
So I just want to state that the county online property records do not accurately reflect property improvements that were made over the years. So as I say, this is true for our property, the garage, and there's our neighbors have had significant improvements that also aren't on property inventory. So properties that have significant improvements, such as bathrooms, attic, living space, conversions, basement, waterproofing, kitchen renovations, and such have had dramatic increases in the sale price when offered for sale. As I want to say,
In your area?
yep,
And-
so a
and,
lot of
okay.
college professors and stuff, so they have finished attics, bathrooms.
Right.
But even when you look at the higher prices in the neighborhood, those are the houses that have been flipped. And there's some examples of that we sent you, like, sure, the price is quite high, but has more than one bathroom, has new bathrooms. They've been significantly upgraded and then flipped,
Right.
and that's,
So what is some of that pricing, though? I venture to say that the city may have taken that into consideration, but we'll get to that in a second. But, are these $300,000 houses that we're talking about?
Well, again, I provided 3 examples. So 235 Buckingham Ave, which was purchased on 1/22/2022 for $135,000, had a renovation and was resold on 7/20/22 of the same year for $255,000. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. So that's well over $100,000 increase.
Understood, but again
Yep.
now,
Yep.
and again, we'll get into it a little bit with the city, but 250, 260, you're at 206.
Well, it was, yeah, originally purchased prior to the renovation for 135.
Well, yes, but now we forget about that. Let's move to where it's sold now.
Saying
We're-
we're more
we're not-
comparable to the pre-sale price
Right.
than the post-sale price. That's
right,
all.
okay.
That's the point.
Yes,
right.
and this, there's another one, 136 Kensington Place, that was purchased for $104,000 back in 2018. It was renovated and sold in 2018 for $190,000, and then sold again in 2021 for $225,000. And that's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house. And just, these are all more than one bathroom properties, so I just want to clarify that as well.
How many bedrooms do you have?
We have 3 bedrooms.
3.
And then one other property, 242 Westminster Ave, which was purchased in 2017 for $85,000, following a renovation, was resold 2019 for $200,000.
Okay. Is that information you submitted in here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So we can pull that. Let me just, okay, if I go over to the city for a minute here
Sure.
and,
We will take into consideration that there is no garage. We also did not have central air, and you do have central air. Unfortunately, when these properties are rehabbed or the owners do that, they don't have to take out permits. So unless we have a crystal ball, we don't know these properties have been improved. I mean, if we are fortunate to see a listing by whatever means necessary, then it'll say, oh,
you're
newly
saying they
remodeled
don't
attic.
have to take out permits or they
For-
don't take out permits?
They don't.
Okay.
Some do, some don't.
Regardless,
But,
you don't know, but I thought that they,
yeah, there's
know,
some, I mean,
plumbing and
for,
electrical.
if they're moving a wall, things like that. But if, again, we're not always made aware of rehabs. But I do have a couple of sales that only have one bathroom. 929 Westmoreland, 317 Kensington. They only have, and believe me, I know the one bathroom deal because, I have one bathroom. And it
Oh,
will
sure.
play
Yeah.
part in, depending on, but if somebody wants a property bad enough, I guess they'll have one bathroom. But I'm just gonna, again, it's up to the board,
Okay.
so. But I will, correct our inventory as far as the garage.
I'm not looking for anything, but is there a recommendation based on the garage, or you want to leave it up to us? Okay, fair enough. Okay, so the city submitted some comps.
Okay.
You've got a lot of information here that we're going to look at, as well as the city. The city's acknowledging, as well as us, that there should be an adjustment with respect to the lack of garage. More so than central air, but central air is good. We've got a plus and minus. And taking into consideration, we're gonna compare the one-bedrooms on here versus yours. So I think we have enough information to make a decision.
One bathroom.
Did I say one bedroom? I'm sorry. Sorry about that. So one bathroom. So those are important points that you brought up, certainly. Is there anything else you want to add?
This one other property on Victoria Place that's for sale for $185,000.
Currently for sale?
Yes. So that's probably a property that needs improvement. It's been owned by the same family, according to Zillow, for over 100 years. So it likely needs some improvements, but it's been listed at 185 for over 200 days. So that's
That's
not
good
the
information. Is that
240
in here
and
also?
yeah. Pardon?
Is that in here also?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's, certainly not what has sold, but what is currently being offered as well.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, no, you did a good job as far as what you supplied, and we'll certainly go through everything, and we'll make a decision. The city will send you a notice first week of April.
Okay.
But appreciate you coming in. You did a good job.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. You're here for 146 Court Street? Oh, okay. Well, these are by appointment, so, yeah. Yeah. How are you?
Good, sir.
Good.
Yourself?
I'm doing well, thank you. Just to confirm, you're here for 146 Court Street? Let me just make a note here. Okay, I'm going to swear you in, okay? And then I'm going to read some information in, and then I'll turn it over to you. So your right hand is raised. Can you state your name for the record?
Mary E. Tatum.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, actually. Thank you for that. We've been swearing in the assessors, and so state your name for the record.
Ann Gallagher.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Okay, so 146 Court Street. Is this a one-family house?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You can call me Joe, you don't have to call me sir. Okay, and so let me confirm some numbers here. Okay, so the current tentative assessed value is 48,000. What's that? You had 37,600 down. Where the land value is. Is there a land value on this? 4,000?
Mm-hmm.
That means that the market value would be 76,800 based on the current tentative assessed value. Petitioner believes the fair market value is 48,000, which would be an assessed value of 30,000. Let me just see if I can. Okay, so in 2019, you purchased the property for 72,000, and you have painted the house, put a new roof and a new sump pump in since you purchased it.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Is this you live in this house
I live in this house with my cat.
with your cat? Okay, that sounds good. What else can you tell us about it? Why do you think it's worth 48,000? Now, how did you arrive at the purchase price of 72,000?
Well, the owner liked me, you know, which,
Doesn't sound like very much.
well, she said, you know, I needed a place to stay because I moved out of senior high rise, right? You know, and it wasn't being upkept well, you know, and so the Lord blessed me to get a mortgage through Home Headquarters, and I moved in with my first cat. So, you know, in order to stay in the house, you know, it needed a lot of improvement. The whole block, the whole 100 block of Court Street, it floods. My neighbor, we all senior citizens.
You're by Schiller Park?
We're down by
Oh,
Destiny
I'm sorry.
USA.
Yes.
Yeah, down that way. My neighbor, we all senior citizen. His basement, I got his phone number. He said he can call his basement. He was assessed for $6,000. He didn't have time because he got heart trouble, you know. And then the other lady, she got Alzheimer's, you know, and her family take care of her. And then I'm out in the corner. I got the most beautiful house there is. But if I didn't know just because you keep up your house, you know, and you try to live there in a decent place, you know, that it was going to cost me. And
Well, let's talk about your house a little bit as far as the flooding is concerned.
That's why I had to get a sump pump.
Okay.
You know, my house was flooding. I was gonna have to move out of the house, you know, but it wasn't disclosed. They disclosed that it was a little water in the basement, but it was, you couldn't even walk in the basement, you know, because that whole area down there, the drainage is terrible, you know, and we
So now
still
with the-
suffer when it rained, you know. I got a sump pump and I got the bill here, you know.
So how are things now with the sump pump?
Well, it helps me out. It don't flood. You know, it helped me out of flood, you know. So that did help me out because otherwise I was getting mildew. I had to have people come in and bleach the house out, you know, and air the house out, you know, and I wanted to live, you know. I didn't want my cat to die. I think that's why my first cat died, you know, because I didn't get the sump pump in time, you know, to clean out the air, you know.
Okay.
But you know, the corner on the first house on the corner is assessed less than me. My neighbor is assessed less than me. He said, Mary, you done did a lot of work, you know, in your house like that, but I'm trying to stay there. That's why we not do the work, you know, and like that, you know. And I plant a garden every year, you know, and I cultivate the soil and everything, and I plant flowers around the house, you know, and yeah, I had the painter come in and paint the house and, you know, did yard work, you know, and put an emergency entrance on the side there. You know, you got a picture of the house, don't you? Yeah, you know.
Well,
what's called,
that's good that you,
you know, what's called, I'm trying to be safe, you know. I'm not trying to be homeless.
yep,
You know,
yep,
what
that's
you,
a
I'm
cute
trying to be
house.
safe. You know, I'm still working. I take care of that. I'm going on 75 years old, you know, and I just got off. I had to get off early for my 90-year-old Alzheimer's case. And she said, go down there, Mary, see what you can do, you know, because I'm still working. I'm working just to survive. 75 years old, I should be retired. But I can't retire. I got to try to fix me a place to stay. And I just saw in the news last night that the people in Syracuse are becoming more homeless like that, you know. And people have been offering to buy my house. They've been offering to buy my house, you know, but I don't want to go into your senior high rise like that because those people, they not right. They trying to get in your business. Even my church trying to get me out there and deal with trying to get me to move in like that. But I want to be by myself, you know. I'm used to being independent, and I'm holding on. I'm trying to work and survive. That's what I'm doing every day.
Okay, all right, so let me.
So that's when I keep trying to keep my property up, you know, and do the best I can, and I'm still working, you know, and I'm gonna work, you know, just to survive and take care of my house.
All right, so we appreciate that. Why don't you just calm down for a minute and let us look at a few things.
I had to pay that out of my pocket, you know, what's called on a credit card, you know, and I'm still paying that down.
Yeah, I see. When they put the sump pump in, did they just put the sump pump or did they
They
do
had
some
to-
digging?
They had to dig all around the foundation, you know, and had to run some lines, you know.
Okay.
And they got 2 humidifiers, you know, down there, you know, so the air be fresh.
No, it looks like they did, because it just says sump pump on here, and I wanted to make sure that they didn't charge you just for a sump pump. 4,000. It does say basement waterproofing. It looks like 26 feet, so wanted to make sure they did some digging, this company. Okay. Let me just see what the city has. Was this a neighborhood,
It was a neighborhood, again, the purchase price was $72,000, but, again, I do have some sales in the area, that would support the new $76,000 assessment. I will just, the garage is a separate parcel, just so the
I see
board
it,
knows.
it's a nice-looking garage.
Yeah, so, I'll just leave.
So this is on a double lot?
No, actually, the lot's pretty small. It's just that the garage was parceled separately for whatever reason. But yeah, it wasn't just her property. Like she said, I reviewed the whole neighborhood, was extremely low. So, and just for the record, the $10,000 assessment increase is about, because she has a senior, would be about $200 in taxes. Is it an increase? Yes, it's, but because she does have a senior citizen, it'll equate to about $200 in taxes. So
So whatever increase was proposed, it's gonna amount to $200.
right, because she has the senior, so that will help. So it'll be about $200.
So, we're gonna look at everything, of course, that you had to say, as well as the city. But just, I don't want you to get, you see $10,000 and sometimes you think you have to pay $10,000. But if the increase of 10,000 goes through, let's just say, then it's gonna mean another $200 in taxes, which is still a lot of money. But I don't want you to get nervous and think that, that's gonna put you out of the house, hopefully not. Because of your senior exemption, it equates to a couple $100 over the year. Where do you work?
I'm a home certified home health aide, and I take care of the senior citizen. Right now, I'm taking care of a 90-year-old man with Alzheimer's, so his wife can get some rest, and I've been taking care of him 2 years. And they nice people out in DeWitt on Cornwall Drive out there.
You drive?
Yeah, I drive. I'm a senior citizen. I have to drive. I'm trying to keep my insurance up, and it just went up, and then National Grid just went up, and and everything just going up, but my paycheck not going up, and it's it's getting harder and harder, It's terrible. It's terrible. It's really hard.
No, those are all valid points.
It's hard. It's harder and harder. So, I'm just trying to survive. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm still working. I'm still working. I'm still working. I gotta work to survive. So I just think the Lord give me strength, to take care of people, and somebody not taking care of me. That's it. I love helping people. And I've been doing this helping people for over 40 years. And that's all I know how to do is take care of people. I'm good with people. I get out there with people so I don't get that Alzheimer's stuff, Because I had to keep communicating, and I had to, clean for them, make food for them, and they enjoy me, They my company as well as I'm their company, We keep other going, communication. This morning I got up and I did this exercise with him, and his wife thanked me for doing that, And I've been with him over a year now.
All right, so you've never heard this before, but I want you to raise my assessment, and I'm being serious, to offset her assessment. Okay, so we'll again, if, let's see what we can do, okay? But I don't want you to, worry about it too
I'm
much.
not trying to become homeless. I get scared when I hear the news that Syracuse is increasing the homeless population, People ain't got nowhere to live, and they can't afford to rent no more.
Well, the thing is, you're
It's sad.
75 years old.
Yeah.
And you're still working.
I'm still working. I'm still trying to survive.
I understand.
I'm trying to survive, and I'm helping other people, I'm trying to keep my mind occupied and keep functional, and keep going. And that's what I'm doing.
All right.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you coming in. Let's see, calm down.
I'm
So-
talking for all my neighbors up the street too,
Yes, no,
the
that's-
guy got heart trouble, and then the lady up, she got that Alzheimer's disease, and it's sad. We are senior citizens, and we look out for one another, on my block there,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you've taken good care of the house.
Oh, and I try to keep it up.
Yes, and it
because
appears so.
I read on news that code violation are boarded up if I don't do the right thing,
Sure. Yep.
Yeah. So
All right. So we have to move on to some other
okay. I'm
petitioners.
sorry,
No,
I'm
no, you're
sorry.
fine, you're fine.
I'm
But
sorry, I'm
we'll,
sorry.
let's see what can be done, and, the city will send you a notice the first week of April,
Okay, okay,
all right?
okay.
But we appreciate you
Okay,
coming in,
okay.
and, nothing to get nervous about.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, well, you know, I see senior people, they be in this place, you know? And, the nursing home, I used to work in the nursing home when I was young. They not the place to go no more. If you can stay in your house, stay in your house, you know? And I'm trying to stay in mine and be independent. Okay, sir?
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
okay.
nursing home's a whole nother story.
Okay.
I'm gonna give this back to you, okay?
You don't need a copy of this?
No, I'm aware that it cost you $4,000, and that looked like your original receipt.
Yeah,
So that's fine, all right.
Okay, sir.
Let's see what we can do, and,
Okay.
and then you'll get a notice the first week of April,
okay, sir.
okay?
You have a good day now. Y'all have a good day. Be blessed.
You
Okay,
too.
y'all have a
Thanks
good
for
day.
coming in.
All right, be blessed.
Okay, so we have 935 Comstock Avenue. Okay. Thank you. How are you today?
Fine, and good morning.
So you're here for 935 Comstock Ave. Thank you for waiting.
It's not a problem, we're retired.
That's beautiful.
Yes, it is.
Yes, yes. Okay, so if I could swear you in, if you could both raise your right hand, state your name for the record.
Michael Raposo.
You both swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
All right, so let me just read this into the record here, confirm some things. So the petition says this is a wood frame house on a lot that is directly across Comstock Avenue from Oakwood Cemetery. The current tentative assessment, now you have 160,000, I believe it's 180,000, current tentative. 180,000. With a land value of 21,700. That would mean the market value is 288,000. The petitioner believes the fair market value is $264,000, which would be an assessed value of $165,000. So we're not too far apart here. Looks like you purchased the property, just for the sake of reading it in, $21,000 you paid in March 1973, which sounds about right. And a kitchen remodel in 2003. And and then we have we've got a letter here for a note from you, and that should do it. So let me turn it over to you, and then we'll go over to the city, and then I'll come back to you.
Thank you very much. And we do have some documents that we've prepared which will support the evidence we're going to bring to you. There you go.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry, I don't have a sixth set.
Oh, okay, thanks.
That's okay. I'll look at hers, no problem.
Okay. We live at 935 Comstock. We purchased the house in 1973. We've lived there continuously. Our house has never been occupied by anyone else except our children. We've never rented our house, nor would we. We're retired teachers. We both taught in Syracuse. Annette was a music teacher at Ed Smith just over the top of the hill, and she did not contribute to global warming because she walked to work.
Very nice.
Well, we weren't thinking of that at the time, but just the way it looks, you're going backwards. I was a social studies teacher and computer studies teacher later in my career at Clary Middle School, among a few other schools. We both had long careers in the city. Our complaint comes in two parts. Our complaint is, first, that the assessment for 935 Comstock is unequal compared to other assessments along Comstock Avenue. Second, our unequal assessment is part of a conflict in law between people seeking to make profits from my property and the properties of my neighbors, and the efforts of Syracuse's landmark preservation ordinance to preserve our historic district, the Berkeley Park Historic District. If you could look at Table A in the document I've passed out, 2018 appears to be a pivotal year, and I'll get back to this point as we conclude. But in 2018, there were two sales along Comstock, one to a private individual at 933, and another one, if I remember, to a company at 909. Those sales probably prompted a reassessment soon after 2018, and I've lost track of the exact year. And here's why. When that new assessment arrived, the first thing I did is I went to the real estate records and got all the information for all the houses along Comstock Avenue. And what I found in going through all those facts is that in that reassessment, the increases were granted equally and fairly. I didn't grieve. We did not grieve that assessment because we believed that assessment was fair. Now, we've made the same effort with the recent reassessment, and it's shown in the table. The last two columns show the dollar change in assessment for the 20 homes along Comstock and the percentage increases for the 20 homes along Comstock. And the percentage increases range from 5% to 12.5% for us to 25% at the top. That's highly varied from home to home. But most concerning is there are 5 properties for which there's no increase whatsoever. They have a dollar increase of 0 and a percentage increase of 0 from 2023 to tentative 2024. Table A, our feeling is that that shows unequal assessments. It also shows in the brown column, the brown columns, some assessor's data in the property class column, which describes the house as either an inn or a lodge, which means it's a rental, or a family residence. We've divided the houses based on what we see and what we read in the record into 3 categories. LLCs, that would be limited liability corporations, companies that have a corporate shell to protect them from slips and falls and accidents and that kind of thing. And yet these companies own 7 properties along Comstock. These are clearly student rentals. These are businesses that operate for the purpose of making a profit. There are also 4 non-resident owners of houses along Comstock. Those owners live in places like Brooklyn, Los Angeles, Liverpool, DeWitt. They do not live on Comstock. And from our observation on a sunny Friday afternoon with kids out in the front lawn having parties and a good time, clearly they're student rentals. cars in the parked on the lawns and double parked in the driveways have license plates from Massachusetts, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, up and down the East Coast where it's all snowing today. But those kids are here as students at Syracuse. So in total, we have 11 rentals out of 20 houses, 11, and 9 resident occupied homes. That's important to know. The green column shows the number of sales since the year 2000. Now, this was a new understanding when we came to looking at this data. We noticed that the LLCs are homes that turn over a lot more than the homes that turn over who are owned by resident owners. In between is the homes owned by non-resident owners, people who live in New Jersey and who knows where. Those homes turn over almost as often. We didn't understand that fact until we found it in this data. So we present it for your attention. Among the resident owners, generally the houses stay for a long time. In this case, most all of them have one owner. And in cases where you see a bigger number, in both of those cases, I can tell you why. There are particular circumstances. The one thing that sticks out in my mind in the green column is an LLC that had only one turnover, one change. And you can press me for why this exception fits within this understanding, and I will get to that. This will help to prove the rule that the LLCs are people involved in turning properties over. Could we go to the next one, Table B? Our home is in the Berkeley Park Historic District. The Historic District was established in 2002 with action by the federal government and action by the state government. I have a letter here which I didn't copy from New York State, congratulating us on being part of an historic district. The good thing from our perspective is the Berkshire, my wife is from Berkshire County. You have to excuse me. The Berkeley Park, and that's from Massachusetts originally. We met at Syracuse. The city of Syracuse has recognized the Berkeley Park Historic District and established multiple ordinances, updated various times. The most recent update was 2023, last year. In Table B, we looked at all the properties in the Berkshire Park Berkeley Park Historic Districts, all 135, separating them between the ones on Comstock, 20, and the 115 in the rest of the Berkeley Park Historic District. We found that while 15 out of 20 homes on Comstock were increased in their assessments, 75%, 107 out of 115 in the rest of the historic district had increases of $0.00. There were 7, did I get that right? 8, excuse me. There were 8 that had an increase of varying amounts. But what it said to us is, we are in the Berkeley Park Historic District. We're being treated very differently from the rest of the district. I'm sorry?
We have 10 minutes total to.
I will keep going. If you could turn ahead to the next table, this shows all the sales since 2018 along Comstock Avenue. At the top is the sale to a resident owner, and the second is a sale to O Comstock Company LLC. That probably prompted the some time ago reassessment that we accepted without complaint. What followed were 8 more sales, and I think must jump off the paper to you because it jumps off the paper to me. All of those were sales to LLCs, all sales with one exception, but that was to a non-resident owner. There's been a lot of property turning over, and 943 is the most recent one at 410,000, an eye-popping number for me. I will get into that. That was the sale that had the black box around it on the first table. On the second page, stapled to this, is a timeline that shows when houses were sold along Comstock, 900 block. Our house was the furthest back. That was followed by a long period with houses not turning over, as you can see, with some pickup in activity between 2000 and 2010. There was an economic crisis for a period of time. Nothing happened then. And then 2018 is a pivotal year where things changed. As we saw before, there was one sale to a private owner, to a resident owner. All the other sales were to landlords seeking to make a profit. The next document is a map, which didn't fit on ordinary size paper, so I'm sorry. I wanted to show the whole street and who owned what houses. The whole street, as you can see, has an island in the middle of it of 5 resident owners, where we are at 935, and the others around us are surrounded by rental apartments. Excuse me. 943 sticks out to me, and then again, that was the sale in the very first document that had the black box around it, because now it's owned by Cuse Rentals, whose address is 1001 James Street. I don't know what that is. It sounds like a post office box or I don't know where that is.
Yeah, it's on James.
Yeah. Okay, taking a look at this map, 943 and 945, both of those homes were resident owners in the year 2022. In 2023, 945 changed hands. The owners of 943, the next door home, had for years been telling neighbors, don't sell your house to landlords. This doesn't go well when that happens. In the year 2022, they were surrounded by houses on either side with student rentals. In the year 2023, they sold out to a landlord. They sold out because they chose not to live in that kind of an environment. I won't go further than that. I can't speak for them. They no longer live on Comstock. But they chose to leave because of their surroundings. And yet, though it sounds as if they sold in a rush, they have $410,000 for their house. Because though it had lost value for them, it had gained value in the eyes of a potential landlord called Cuse Rentals. It gained value, so they were happy to spend a lot of money buying the house.
Just put you on hold for a
Sure.
second, just because we got to stay within the somewhat of the time frame.
I'm sorry about this.
That's fine. Beautiful presentation, all excellent stuff. You know, we hear this type grievance all the time, and their point's well taken for sure. The city has to, keep the macro in mind as to what's going on, and can't assess you because you're a homeowner versus, non-owner occupieds. Point's well taken, but, you still have to take these 400,000 into consideration. It's your choice not to sell, and that's great. Love to have people remain in the city, but, again, overall, we have to look at the whole picture. So let me just go to the city and see what you have to say as far as
I mean, there's plenty of comps out there. Part of some of the reason, I don't know if you want me to address, if the assessment wasn't changed, if I had changed it the year before or 2 years before,
Yeah,
I was
so-
trying to, same with the Upper Berkeley Circle. I will say, I didn't look at that because I looked at it at a different time frame. So, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Owner occupied rentals, some of these are assessed as rooming houses if we think that they're being rented per room versus one lease versus, but that's neither here nor there. It's all about what it's valued at. So I will, I'm gonna look at some of this, information. Obviously, there was a lot of time put into it. What happened in 18, what happened in 22. The thing is, the market up there is exploding. And believe me, we appreciate the people that are staying there. Again, there is value, 410, that neighbor sat at this board. I'm almost positive they did and said they weren't, they were staying and then they sold. I get it. It's not easy to live up there, but there is value.
yeah, for sure. All right, let me go back to you briefly, just because we've got some other people.
I'm sorry to take all this time,
Yeah,
but
no,
there's
it's
some
okay.
important issues here, I think, for the assessors, but also for the city. I'd like to also address the problem I see to the city as well as to you. Document A is from the Landmark Preservation Ordinances, Landmark Preservation Board. It has the legislative intent. This is law for the city of Syracuse, by the way. And the intent of the law is part of document A. And I would point out item B, where it says that the intent of the Landmark Preservation Ordinance is to strengthen the economy of the city by stabilizing and improving property values. People who live as resident owners do maintain their homes, receive homes that were historic and expensive to repair, but they're worth it. And I would like to say that until 2018, property values along Comstock were extremely stable, were steady. We didn't have this explosion recently. The market has changed in 2018, and it's people who don't live on Comstock, who present themselves as LLCs at addresses that are unknown to us, not able to trace them down. So it's a shame that this has happened since 2018. If you could go to the second page, document B. Document B has the rules and regulations we live in because we're in an historic district. So any changes we make to our property we have to ask for appropriateness, a certificate that says we may do the same. You may notice I got a red arrow. The lower red arrow says that we need to ask for anything that would involve signage. We need to ask for permission. On my street, there are 4 homes with obnoxious for rent signs displayed on the front of the house in the historic district, completely out of line. I've called the Landmark Preservation Board. They are unaware of anyone ever asking for that permission. And if you could turn to the last page of this document, this is the house next door to the house that sold for $410,000. This is 945 Comstock, which was rented in 2022. And over that winter, presumably the students left. For some reason, the heat was turned off and the water was left running in the building. The pipes froze. The water burst the pipes. And for a month, I understand, the water ran through the house. Since then, the house has been, interior has been demolished, put in dumpsters, which we've all seen in plain sight, and carted away. And as you can see, the windows are boarded up. with plywood, and the place looks terrible.
And this is a blip, though, you know, it's gonna get fixed, and, you know, I understand what you're saying, but it's not affecting your market value overall, you know, maybe today, but probably not next week, so to speak. Not that it's gonna be done next week, but that, you know, the meat of it is what things are selling for and, you know, the overall. But anyway, I appreciate you bringing it up.
Well, thank you very much. The last page is a summary, in a review of the points I've already raised, and I won't go through that, but I would like to just go to the conclusions at the bottom, the very last page, the summary. This is what I've gained from this, and I addressed this to the city as well as the Board of Assessment. One, the conversion of homes to student rentals along Comstock has led to an increased and equal assessment of our home at 935 Comstock. One thing has led to another that affects us personally. Second, an analysis of the conversion of homes to student rentals along Comstock Ave reveals a legal conflict. On one side is a real estate market fed by profit-seeking landlords. On the other side is the Landmark Preservation Ordinance, a law of the city of Syracuse, which seeks to preserve homes. The market moves prices up as homes are converted to student rentals. Landlords profit, resident owners receive higher assessments and suffer a lower quality of life as their lives are disrupted by student renters. This is a vicious cycle
It is,
driven
but
by
again,
the landlords.
Again, I gotta say, though, you know, who knows what you're ultimately gonna do with the property? But these student rentals, owners are making your property values go up, up, and up. So I believe that at some point, you're going to take advantage of that. So it's not, and it's not all bad. And if it gets too bad, then unfortunately, you'll, you know, be like that other homeowner that put the property on the market. But my point is that I understand what you're saying, and I think it's all true. But, you know, these rentals will ultimately put more money in your pocket than had they not been there, in my opinion.
What you're saying is that it's about the money and not the community.
Well, what I'm saying is that everybody has a right to buy whatever they want to buy, right? So if a landlord comes in there and pays all kinds of money, so be it. That's their choice. You know, I live on Sedgwick Drive in the city, and I'm all about the preservation and all that good stuff. But at the same time, you know, you're not going to stop it. And eventually people are going to sell out, and that's going to be that. And, you know, if you're lucky enough to be around, you're probably going to do the same thing. But again, the thing is that, you know, we have to do the macro, and it is what it is. I'm not saying we made any decisions today, but, you know, it's tough to argue with these prices. So those are the things that you have to keep in mind also.
Just a final word. Our complaint is a complaint about landlords. There are places to complain about the students, and we do. That's not here. That would be the university, the police, code enforcement, places like that. There is a vicious cycle at work here, and I'd like you to be aware of it. And certainly it would be a help if the city were more aware of it, more cognizant of that. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you for all of the work that you've done here as well. A lot of work.
Just want to explain what we see as a whole picture. Thank you.
No, I think you're 100% accurate. Again, lastly, we've got to take everything into consideration and go from there.
Thank you very much.
What
Thank
did you
you.
teach? I'm curious.
Trying to tell you're a teacher.
Was I teaching?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
but
Just very organized.
Well,
Very
he-
organized,
yeah,
precise.
It's a habit.
Yeah.
I taught years of social studies. I loved history. But then I had an opportunity to get into exposing middle school kids to computers and what computers can do. So this is what computers can do, yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank
The
you.
city will send you a notice first week of April.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, really? That was the last one. I see that.
Okay, 2323 South Salina Street. Full. Thank you. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Good morning. How are you? Good morning, good morning. Oh, Matt's gonna come over there. Yeah,
We'll all look at it anyway.
that's fine. Yeah, sure. No, that's fine. It's gonna count against you, but, you know, not a big, just a little. Okay, so, you're here for 2323 South Salina Street. Okay, so let me just swear you in if I could, if you could all raise your right hands. State your name for the record.
David Reed?
Brittany Taylor.
You all swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, great. So let me just read it in, and then I'll turn it over to you. For the record, you've submitted a document here, a little synopsis, and we'll get into that in a second. So as far as the petition is concerned, okay, so this is a full exemption? You're seeking a full exemption? Okay. So I guess, let me just read some things in and we'll take it from there. This is a commercial piece of property. I'll have you describe it in a minute. I don't have any tax information. I will just read off though, just in case it's relevant. Current tentative assessed value is $240,000. Petitioner, I'm sorry, that would equate to a full market value of $384,000. There's nothing filled in as far as the petitioner is concerned with respect to market value because the request is a full exemption. Let me just ask the city a couple questions real quick. So, was this on the rolls?
No, this is a brand-new exemption. It was denied. I had spoke with Ms. Harris regarding maybe bringing some more information at the hearing, so.
Okay, all right. So, what type of building is this first?
So it is a commercial, it is a commercial building. It was formerly a food cooperative known as Eat to Live Food Cooperative. And so we are Cafe Sankofa Incorporated. So we're a culture and wellness nonprofit organization. And our mission was really to support, educate, and provide the community with healthy alternatives. That includes all things health and wellness, so physical health, mental health, financial health. And really our vision is to establish a vibrant community in the hub of the Sankofa district, in particular for Black and brown families who have, experienced high concentrations of poverty, economic disparity, and limited access to resources. Essentially, we've been doing a lot of work around health and wellness for the community. Like I said, we were formerly a cooperative, a grocery store. And for the past 3 to 4 years, our board has been working considerably hard to acquire full ownership of the building. And we unknowingly were paying mortgage debt, loans that Eat to Live officers essentially took out for the building for reasons that were not clear or communicated. And so we've now not only inherited the building, but in addition, the debts associated. And so part of the board of directors, the work that we've been doing is trying to establish clear separation from the former Eat to Live board, and essentially advance our work to continue to be a community hub for the South Side.
So let me just clarify now, the Eat to Live was a nonprofit grocery store type thing?
So it was actually a cooperative. It was not a
cooperative, okay.
nonprofit. Yes.
It was not nonprofit, okay. And they owned the building,
They own the building, correct.
okay. And apparently they accumulated some debt. Is anybody from that board or that situation affiliated with you now?
No,
No, everybody's out.
yes.
You knew ahead of time, of course, so you didn't, you inherited the building?
So essentially, so it's interesting how this all came about. We essentially were doing a fundraiser to try to raise money to help with the mortgage expenses so that we could reinvest money back into programming. As we were promoting the fundraiser, we were contacted by the Southside Community Coalition, who basically was concerned that we had a mortgage, and basically said that between them and the Eat to Live board, they knew that the building had no mortgage. It was a part of a previous initiative, and so they were concerned that we were having a fundraiser to raise funds for a mortgage, and they had no knowledge of any mortgage that was put onto the building. So after doing some digging with Cooperative Federal, working with lawyers, trying to get information, essentially there was never an official dissolution between the Eat to Live former board and then the Cafe Sankofa. So it was as if Eat to Live just kind of became Cafe Sankofa, but not in an official manner. So there was no DBA, there was no official dissolution, but the Eat to Live board did agree to, we're going to close. I believe they opened in 2013, closed, reopened, closed permanently in 2017, and then in 2018, December of 2017. And then in 2018 is when, you know, they had some cycling off of the previous Eat to Live board, and then some cycling on of Cafe Sankofa board members. So our current board is a couple of generations, I guess, after the fact. And so we were unknowingly kind of paying off these debts and these mortgages, just trying to do the best that we can to, you know, provide services and community impact. And so when we did the digging with Cooperative Federal, and we had some support with lawyers, we found that there were like 4 loans guaranteed by 4 Eat to Live board members. One of them was Howie Hawkins, the other one was Joseph Bryant, and I can't think of the other 2 names. But there wasn't really documentation as to why they took the mortgage off. There weren't any meeting minutes to understand what the decision there was. We don't even know what that money essentially was used for that they took the line of credit from. So essentially, we've just been paying the mortgage payments. We weren't aware of the back taxes because we just assumed, again, that the organization had been keeping up to date with all of their financials. But it got to the point where we were getting close to potentially losing the building in a tax sale because the back taxes had accumulated to a certain amount. And so essentially the board wanted to ensure that we owned the building before we decided to go ahead and pay back taxes, only to realize that Eat to Live still had full power to pop up out of the woodworks if they so choose, to say, this is still our building, thank you for paying the back taxes, but now we would like to do whatever we want to do. So we wanted to make sure that we had full and clear separation from the Eat to Live board, before we decided to go ahead and pay the taxes. We were working very closely with Christina Save from Cooperative Federal, and she basically mentioned that she needed mutuality between the boards in order to assist us with kind of transferring a deed or the title of the building. And the challenge with that was a lot of the former Eat to Live members have either passed away, they've moved, they're no longer in the area, they no longer were interested or had really any involvement in the work that was happening in the space. So it was really hard to kind of get in touch with them to say, hey, we kind of need your approval to kind of officially dissolve and then transfer all of your assets to Cafe Sankofa. So that was a long and arduous process. We finally got into a partnership with David Reed and Associates, or Reed Business Law, excuse me. And we were, through this partnership, we were finally able to get some clarification and some information around the situation, which included being able to contact Howie Hawkins and some of the other former Eat to Live members, which we just assume that when you have a lawyer kind of reaching out, sometimes that elicits a response, because we had been trying for 3 to 4 years to try to get some type of contact. And so through that process, we were able to sign a quitclaim deed, and we now officially have the title and the deed. And in addition to that, we've been working with the city, and we were able to establish a city tax trust agreement. So we're now kind of in a process that we made a down payment, we've been making payments. And so essentially, we're requesting the full exemption, not only because we're a nonprofit and we feel it is our right, but we also want to put Cafe Sankofa in the best chance to be able to continue its work, in addition to all the debts that we have already paid and still have to pay in order to keep the building open. So it would help significantly if real estate property taxes weren't another expense that we have to carry on moving forward, especially because a lot of this debt was mishandled by a former board that's no longer associated.
The tax trust, this is just a going forward thing. It has nothing to do with the tax trust in place and what is owed and what is being paid. And what's the balance of that, do you know, roughly? Just roughly, it's not necessarily relevant, but I was just curious.
I think that on page, well,
Is it in
so,
here?
yes. So the current property taxes were at $60,889.79, and we've currently paid $14,278.36.
All right, so let's get to the crux of it, and I appreciate all the background for sure. Why should Cafe Sankofa be exempt? What exactly is your mission, and what are we doing as a not-for-profit?
Yeah, so our mission is to, again, support, educate, and provide the community with healthy alternatives. So financial assistance, health and wellness, we hold yoga classes, fitness classes.
Let me interrupt just for a second, please. So is this like a 24/7 thing, or what's going on with the use of the building? Is it once a week?
Yeah, so I guess for 2023, we've had to halt programming and things of that sort to try to get things in line. We've had to invest money to get the building up to code and all of those things. But essentially, we're looking to relaunch the space come spring. And what that will look like is we'll be open probably 3 out of 5 days out of the week, if not the full 5 days of a business week. And we have a partnership with a Black-owned and women-owned business where they'll be selling smoothies, juices, grab-and-go food.
What does it look like? What did it look like on January 1st?
Of this month?
Is it still shuttered? Nothing's happening?
So currently, we operate a food sense program, which is in partnership with the Food Bank of Central New York. That's once a month. It's a monthly food buying program where people can pre-order groceries at a discounted amount, and then they come and pick it up. We're offering currently fitness classes, which happen 2 days out of the week, every week. And then we have space opportunity for people to rent the space for health and culturally relevant programming. So those are the three main things that we're currently doing. But what we're looking to add to that is more fitness classes, so yoga classes. We just established a partnership with the Syracuse Yoga Collective in which they'll be doing yoga classes every week. And then in addition to that, we will have Soul and Health, which will be doing juices, smoothies, healthy eating, food demonstrations, things of that sort. So basically, our vision and our mission is to really be a cultural and community hub for people to be able to come and get access to food resources, mental health resources, physical health resources, financial resources, literacy resources. We also have a community garden that we're looking to continue to establish programming and be able to teach people, how to grow food. So we kind of hit multiple different avenues of wellness. And we've seen all throughout COVID, we had a partnership with Liberty Resources, which Brittany was leading in her former role. Yeah.
City's position on,
Well, I guess we wanted a little bit more clarity about, did you bring the income or a tentative income and expense? Because I think the part about the rent, space rental, and that's where we were a little bit unclear, and we'd like some more clarification on, like, is there a breakdown on per square footage or? Oh, okay.
I did include one in the application as well.
yeah, that was the two things, I guess as long as the intent's there, obviously it is, even though you're not operating as of January 1st of this year, I think that's okay, but I gotta refer to the city as far as that's concerned. And then, yes, if you're collecting rent for yoga classes and this, that, and the other thing, how does that work?
So the people
From a
that will teach the
not-for-profit.
yoga and the fitness, they're part of your organization, or they come in, and rent space from you for the fitness, or is that part of your umbrella as the organization? You're offering this class and people are coming in and taking it.
So the Yoga Collective is a separate organization that essentially would be paying rent to host classes that they would then charge for.
Okay.
Yes.
How big is that space within the building and how often would that be?
So I believe it's like the square footage of the building, if I'm not mistaken, is probably around like 3,000. Probably not exactly 3,000. And so they have about 5 to 6 yoga instructors. And so they are looking to host classes weekly.
So the space is just a large open room, so it's
Yeah.
not like it's compartmentalized. There's one private office, and there's bathrooms on the lower floor, and then upstairs there's like a lofted area where basically it's just room for us to host board meetings, and then like a smaller office. So it's not like it's broken into different rooms where they would be able to have different classes at the same time. It's just one large
When you say
open
5 to
space.
6, so, because I think that's a problem. And not a problem, but I don't think we can fully exempt if that type of thing is going on.
Sorry, I don't mean to jump in as a stranger. Matt O.J., Commissioner, City Assessment. So long as carrying costs aren't matched or exceeded by the rent, I really don't think there's a huge concern. And obviously, getting the organization's legs under it, it's a little difficult to stabilize these.
Yes.
But, there's a couple variations in income with the food sense. Yoga's not underway yet, but the expenses, by and large,
Right.
insurance is spot on normal. Utilities for a newer building aren't crazy, but they're still onerous, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to know that we see this as a Black cultural hub as well. So we're giving opportunities to other Black entrepreneurs to maybe, launch their space or, launch their opportunities within the space and then move on to the other opportunities. So the rental cost really is just helping us to keep the lights on and pay the bills. It's not that we're making a ton of money. And then the other thing too is the organizations, we are based on a membership. So they do have business memberships as well as our our members that pay into the Cafe St. Coco part of our membership.
Yeah, I was gonna, I wanted to read through here and say, how are you surviving and paying these bills? It looks
Barely.
like you got-
Barely.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where in order for us to really be successful in planning for the future, we had to take a step back. So we couldn't do programming. We want to make sure that, one, we're up to code, and we've done a lot of work in terms of having electrical done, and now we're working to have security placed back in the building. So we really had to take several steps back so that we could really establish ourselves as an organization, get all of our papers together in the right order so that we now can move forward. So this is just another step. Arlena has done extensive work over the last couple of years to get us to this point as the Cafe St. Cofer board. And so this is just another one of those steps, one of those things that we've been fighting and going with so that we can really get back to doing really great work in the community. As Arlena said, in my previous role, I was a community-based services director for Liberty Resources. We applied for a grant through the Mother Cabrini Foundation, and we established a wellness center called the Sankofa Wellness and Resource Center on that side of town. Unfortunately, we launched our program in February 2020, so we all know. But in our goal at that time was to establish free case management services, peer services, so that people had access to mental health and primary care services, and also work with other organizations that traditionally have not been able to reach out to the marginalized community, such as the Alzheimer's Association and other organizations such as that. So obviously we weren't able to exactly do that, but we did pivot and we became emergency response. So we had a hygiene pantry at the location. We also had a feminine hygiene pantry, which is very unique, so that women were able to get their menstrual products. We had a food share. We applied for additional funding through Mother Cabrini, and then we were hosting a food share once every 2 weeks, and we distributed 500 boxes of food. So we set up, drive-through, we had delivery, and that money also helped to keep Cafe St. Cofa afloat from 2020 through 2022, because as an organization, we were paying rent to be in that space. And that kind of kept us alive and kept Cafe St. Cofa on the radar of what was going on in that community. So since then, we've really had to take a step back.
It might be important for us to note with that rent roll, as far as a commercial building versus a nonprofit organization building, that those rents aren't guaranteed by a lease. There's more of a laissez-faire ad hoc agreements. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's important. Thanks.
Any other information you need from these petitions?
And as the Empress of Czars, I'm just here as window dressing.
I'm not looking for a decision, I'm just saying.
No,
that-
this
that
is good.
satisfy why
This is
we-
what I was looking
Yeah,
for, and a little
that's-
bit of more clarity of, use and future and what was there and.
All right, so thank you very much for everything that you presented. The city was looking for what you provided, so they're gonna dig in, give us some feedback, and then, we'll make a final decision on full exemption, and then the city will send you a notice first week of April. Anything else you want to add? You definitely talk too much.
Have you ever said that to an attorney before?
Taking it all in, and then we'll talk later. But anyway, thank you very much for coming in, appreciate it. And, again, we'll get a notice out first, city will get a notice out first.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, thanks. Last one, all right. $933 Comstock, yes. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. You're here for 933 Comstock. And if you could raise your right hand, state your name for the record.
Mark Perillo.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you got?
Yes.
Okay. Let me just read it in. 933 Comstock Avenue. This is a single-family home residence. Let's just confirm some numbers. Current tentative assessment, $230,000 with a land value of $21,700. That would equate to a market value of $384,000. 384. Am I looking at the wrong one here? Yep.
I have
I am,
368.
368. That's my mistake. 368,000. I was looking at the one above. The petitioner believes the fair market value is $310,000, which would equate to an assessed value of $193,750. Let me just read a couple things here. All right, so on July 2nd of 2018, you paid $305,000. Let's see, no personal property. Was this a mortgage? Did you get a mortgage?
Yes.
It looks like you put in a kitchen remodel for $45,000 in early to mid 2023.
Correct.
Just look at a couple more things here. And then we've got a letter here from you. And looks like you got some comps there. All right, so let me turn it over to you, and then we'll go from there.
Yes, thank you. So really the grounds for my complaint is that I don't think that the comparable homes that were used as the basis for the increase in the assessment were completely irrelevant, and I don't think that they were complete. As you heard earlier, there have been a couple of sales over the last couple of years. 941 Comstock for $400,000, 943 Comstock for $410,000, which I believe were the basis for the increased assessment. I understand that, as you discussed earlier, you need to consider, the macro situation. At the same time, I think that if you expand the area that you are considering for comparable homes to the wider Berkeley Park Historic District, I think that you see a different story in terms of the home values. What I did was pulled some comparable homes from Circle Road, which is basically right behind us in our backyard, and compared and found some homes that were roughly the same living area. I have 4 of them here. 118 Circle Road, assessed value, living area, 3,068 square feet, assessed value, tentative 307,000. 107 Circle Road, 2,929 square feet with a tentative assessed value of 316,800. 134 Circle Road with a living area of 3,210 with an assessed value, tentative assessed value of 288,000. And 136 Circle Road, a living area of 3,009 square feet with a tentative assessed value of, or I'm sorry, I said assessed value. What I meant to say was market value of 240,000. If you compare this with ours, our living area is 3,154 square feet, and the assessed value is, or the tentative full market value is 368,000. If we compare the full market value per square feet for the 4 comparable homes on Circle Road, you get about $94 per square feet, whereas in ours it was assessed with a full market value of almost $117 per square feet. If we use the full market value per square feet for the comparable homes that I pulled, that would put ours full market value closer to about $298,000. So really, the grounds for my argument is that the homes that I pulled from Circle Road are really more relevant. They are single, or they're owner-occupied family homes, and I think that they're more relevant as comparables than the rental properties that I suspect were really the reason why our assessment was increased this year.
How about the one families on Comstock that are owner occupied? I understand my macro, but you pretty much jumped a circle. No data as far as which we will certainly use off of prior petitioner, but what was your reasoning for not including anything on Comstock?
Well, the reasoning
Your
was,
analysis.
yeah, well, the reasoning was really that I think that all of the houses on, I think that the other single-family homes, or the owner-occupied homes on Comstock, they were all unfairly increased in response to those recent home sales. So as well, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the inside of your house. We know you remodeled the kitchen. What else is
Not really anything major. There's been some, we've had to replace the furnace. We've had to replace some plumbing. No other real major remodeling besides that. Yes.
And then your last comment here. So you feel that the home value should reflect the fair market value for owner-occupieds only. So there's two different classes of ownership, is what I'm reading here.
I do believe that, and I believe even if that were not the case, that the comparable homes that are being considered should not only consist of 900 block of Comstock, but also some other similar areas, some similar homes in the surrounding areas that are also part of the Berkeley Park Historic District.
Anything you want to add? I'll come back to you.
Nope.
Okay. Ann?
For the record, 3 of my comps, actually 4 of them, are, some are up on Circle. So 107 Circle sold in just this past August for $415. 130 sold. Again, this is low for but $293, but I am admitting, you know what I mean? So 106 Berkeley sold for $430,000. 202 Berkeley, $360,000. So it's not just the properties along Comstock. There are other sales in the area, again,
Right.
up and behind them that are,
Right.
so.
When I asked you those questions, I'm not picking on you. I just want to see where you're coming from.
Yep.
Did you want to?
I'm not familiar, I did not pull those houses, and I'm not familiar with them off the top of my head. I'm not sure if they are owner-occupied rentals or what. So I'm not sure.
Okay. What was the prior assessment here?
Actually, I wrote it on the bottom, 220 at the bottom. Prior was 200, and I raised it to 230.
Thank you for that. Take a look at the comps. You have some things you want to submit?
I can submit the list of comps if,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I did not bring copies, I didn't know.
That's okay.
what to
Yeah,
expect.
we need something to go on based on what you had to say, and this would be it.
And I know there are,
If you want us to make a copy of this for you.
That's okay.
there are a few properties as you're getting over into the Circle, Berkeley, that are now becoming student housing.
Well,
It's unfortunately, it's creeping. Those sales, the new owners on them, there are some properties that are in an individual's name. I don't have whether they're owner occupied or not. But again, the market, it's going east off of Comstock. Stratford, there's a sale on Stratford also, which is around the corner, so.
okay. I want to say something to you guys before you leave. Anything else you want to add? No, I appreciate your argument, and we'll get into this. I would suspect that probably there'll be some other people, as far as Comstock is concerned, coming in. So, you know, it's something where the whole area was looked at, and so we'll dig in so we can try to make the best decisions possible. And the city will send you a notice first week of April with our decision.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming in, I appreciate it. So I'll say this on the record. You know, you're dealing with, because you had said something that struck me, about the community, and I'm all about the community. You're dealing with, you know, a problem that you can't control, which is, you know, you live near the university, and it's just a product of the university, you know, as far as these rentals are concerned. I live, you know, in another preserved district, Sedgwick Farm, and we're dealing with a very serious crime problem, which is a product of, you know, where we are as far as the city's concerned. I know that crime is everywhere, but we have that to bear on a daily basis. So I guess I just wanted to say that we're not on anybody's side, you know, as far as the landlords or the homeowners. We just try to, you know, remain neutral, but, you know, point definitely well taken and appreciated, and where I am as far as community is concerned, and sure. Yep. Yes.
Preserve historic.
No, yeah, no question. I was on the board for a little while, 5, 6 years, I think, with Don Radke, all great people. Again, people unfortunately are going to do things behind the scenes, and it's very difficult for them to do their job, if you will, to try to keep things in order, the way the Preservation Board was, the reason why it was created and what their purview is. So, yes, yes, thank you very much for coming in, you know. Welcome. You're welcome. Have a great day. With that, we'll adjourn the meeting. Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Meeting's closed.